with another episode of One Gallon Brewing. Today I show you how to brew an American Stout. So let's go. Hey gang, it's your buddy Plaid here. Real excited for this video. It's fall, which means winter's coming, so if I want a beer ready for the holidays, I need to be brewing now. And of course, wintertime, I love those big, dark, malty beers, whatever. So today I thought I'd brew up an American Stout and have it ready for the holidays. Now today we're going to do something a little different. Throughout this series I've done all grain brews. We did start doing brewing a bag to make simplicity. But I found a perfect recipe for partial mash brewing, something I want to show you guys. Partial mash brewing is kind of the in-between phase from your cans of, hot malt extract like your Mr. Beer, Brew Demon type kits. It is the kind of in-between between that and then all grain brewing like they do in commercial breweries and how we've been doing lately. So I wanted to show you guys this technique. Now, what is partial mash brewing? Basically, when we're doing a regular all grain brew, part of the process when we do the mash in, we do the sparge, we're trying to extract the sugars out of the barley. The specific style of sugar is known as maltose. Now, extract is basically that process done for us. They turn it into a very usable form, either powdered or a dry extract or a liquid extract. For our purposes, I will use dry extract. It's just easier to use. More importantly, it's easier to measure smaller amounts. If you're going to do big brews where you would use a whole container, then it's not quite as tough. But if you're having to break down a container or something, the dry is much easier than the liquid. So what I have here is a couple of different malt extracts. It's basically like I said, just the sugar base. To compare it to our all grain brews, most of them will always have a base of the just standard 2-row barley. This is basically our 2-row barley. What I have in here, which is basically a hop sack muslin bag, is our specialty grains. These are the grains that will start to provide color and flavor. These are just different grains that are roasted at a different level that bring, some of those darker malty notes, your toffees and caramels. When you get them real dark, black in color, then you start picking up your coffee notes, espressos. Also, you get that dark color like in stouts. So, I thought today, like I said, we'll do a partial mash brewing, just something totally different. With that being said, this is a fairly simple brew. I think you guys will like it. So, let's get to brewing an American Stout. Alright gang, let's get this party started. Real quick, in my brew pot, I have 1.5 gallons or 6 quarts of water. I've brought it up to 150 degrees. After a little absorption from those specialty grains, we should end up with around 1.4 gallons of pre-boil volume. So, got my water at 150 degrees, and all we're going to do is take our bag, our grain bag. Think of this as a tea bag, like a tea bag. We're basically just making some tea. You want to dip it in a few times. You don't want any dry grain in the middle, so dip it like you would a tea bag. You want all, the tea leaves saturated. Same thing with the grains. So you want to give it a little dip like this, and then we've got a little in there. Throw that in there too. But anyway, we're going to let this sit at 150 degrees. We'll cover it up. We're going to let this sit for 30 minutes. This is kind of our version of a mash, except done slightly different than all grain. So we're going to let this sit for 30 minutes at 150. Then we'll come back to take out our bag. All right, gang, it's been 30 minutes, so it's time to take out our hop or our sack of grains. Real easy. Since we're doing a sparge, when we're pulling that grain bag up through the liquid, we're kind of rinsing those grains anyway. I'm going to sit it here for a second to drain. And like I said, this is our sparge. Real nice and easy. Small bag. We're not making a big mess. Just really, really convenient way to do this. Let it drip a little bit more. All right, that's good. We're going to set that aside. And now we're going to add our malt extract. We have two styles of malt extract. There's actually various forms of malt extract. The pale malt extract is the one you'll use most of the time, but there's also colors, and that adds some flavor complexity or whatever to it. First, we're going to add 6 ounces of light malt extract. And I don't have my flame on because I don't want to scorch anything. We're just going to add our malt extract, stir it around. Because we have heated the water, the malt extract's just going to stir in a lot easier. And again, one of the advantages of the dried malt extract compared to the liquid malt extract is it's not going to go straight to the bottom. A lot of times with that liquid, it goes straight to the bottom, and if you're not careful, if you have the heat on, you can scorch and you'll get that flavor. The dried malt extract avoids that. Next, we're going to add 12 ounces of our amber malt extract. So we have 18 ounces total of extract in this brew. Let's stir to get this all in. You want to make sure you don't have any clumps or lumps or anything like that in there. And so now we have all our fermentables in there, and I'm just going to stir this in, and I'm going to bring, after I get everything incorporated, I'm going to turn the heat back on and bring it to the boil, and we'll start our boil there. So let me get this all stirred in, and we'll come back to start our boil. All right, gang, our boil's just beginning to start. One thing I want to point out while I'm showing this is when you're using malt extract, something like this, you can see a boil over is more likely to occur, so you really want to keep your eyes on this stuff. And just give her the swirl before she starts really cranking up. But you definitely want to keep an eye on this. And also that's why you want plenty of head space on your brew pot. Yeah, see this, if you're not careful, and we'll cut that heat down a little bit. Another way to fight this is if you had a little spray bottle of water, you could kind of kill the foaming, but this is something in particular when dealing with malt extract. All right, seems now like we're kind of breaking through, getting the boil going. All right, here we go. So we're going to do a 45-minute boil. Traditionally, they're 60-minute boils. You'll see variations out there. 45 minutes is what we're doing here. I'm going to add 8 grams of Northern Brewer hops. Is the only hop addition we'll doing. Toss that in, and again, yeah, this is why you have to be real careful when working with malt extract and hops to boil over. I'm definitely glad we got that on video. We're going to let this boil for the next 45 minutes, and then we'll come back to cool off. I do want to show you real quick. We're switching yeast. We're going to a Northern Brewer yeast. It's cooled off enough where I can use a regular yeast. This is a classic strain of yeast for your classic English-style beers, pub beers, stouts, porters, what have you. So, that said, we'll come back in 45 minutes at the end of the boil. All right, gang, it's been 45 minutes. Time to chill our wort. We'll throw that in here. Real quick, I want to correct something I said earlier. The hops were Northern Brewer. The particular yeast we're using is Nottingham. I'm sure you caught that, but I just wanted to correct that. And because we switched yeast, we're not using a Kvike yeast. Remember, the selling point of that was that it would ferment at warmer temperatures, which means we didn't have to cool down our wort as much. Since we're using a classic ale yeast strain, we need to get this down to at least 75 degrees. So time to throw the old ice packs in there. Little trick I've learned over the years, and I may have pointed out before, freeze bottles. Freeze your bottles of water. Just make it real easy on chilling a wort. We're going to let this cool down to 75 degrees, and then we'll come back. I'll go ahead and put it in the fermenter, pitch the yeast, and then we'll come back to wrap up. All right, gang, that was a nice, easy brew. Just a few steps, real easy to do, real quick. Let's review the recipe. We start off with 12 ounces of dried amber malt extract, 6 ounces of dried light malt extract. Our specialty grains that we had in the bag were 2 ounces of Crystal 60 Lovabond barley, 2 ounces of roasted barley, and a ½ ounce of black patent malt, or malted barley. Our hops, we used 8 grams of Northern Brewer at the start of a 45-minute boil, and we're using, again, Nottingham ale yeast, a classic old school strain. When I researched this recipe, they projected out an original gravity of 1050, a final gravity of 1012, for a projected ABV of 5.1% and IBUs 43. Now, I just did the gravity reading and we came out 1.050, right on the number. That is one of the benefits of working with extract. Pretty much as long as you get all the extract in your liquid, in your wort, you're going to hit your gravity point or come a lot closer. One of the issues with doing all grain brews, and that's why one of the reasons why it's the most difficult, is there's so many factors that go into efficiently extracting that maltose out of the grain. You know, how fine did you crush it? Did you crush it too fine? You know, can you hold temperatures, or, you know, does your stove kind of fluctuate in the heating and your temperature range? There's a lot of factors, and that's why when I quote the numbers, sometimes, you know, we'd be off, you know, a couple of degrees in your original gravity either way. There's a little inexactitude, especially when you're learning this process. But with the malt extract, and again, these kind of partial mash recipes, it's a lot easier to hit those numbers exactly. So it's kind of a cool thing. Well, I hope you like this video. Oh, real quick, before I end this, we are going to let this sit in primary for 2 weeks. We're going to rack off, put into secondary for another couple of weeks, bottle condition for 1 week, and so in a little over a month or so, hopefully we have a nice, delicious American Stout. Now I can end the video. Well, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe down below. Also, please like the video because it lets YouTube know we're putting out good content. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or beers that you'd like me to brew, please leave them in the comment section, or you can always contact me on the Twitter page. Till next time, bottoms up.